Hey, this is Paul Cardullo from Gruesome Magazine, and I'm here today with our very own Doc Rotten, and he's going to tell us about a film he just saw, Close Calls. How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing good, and I'm excited to talk about this one. This is a fun little film.
So, can you give us a little plot synopsis on it?
I can. Before I do, though, this film is playing at the New York City Horror Film Festival, and that is one of the many reasons we are talking about it tonight. But yes, synopsis for this film. This is about a young girl who is, she's a troubled teen, in a broken home, broken family. The father, is trying to date other women, and it's just, it's that kind of scenario. You've seen it before. But what happens is he leaves her alone, and she's got to take care of, their bedridden grandmother. And when that happens, everything hits the fan. Every little turn ends up having a different type of problem, different trouble. This calls back, if you were wondering, to those late 70s, 80s films, When a Stranger Calls and stuff like that. It starts off with a phone call with a voice, saying things to her. But people start showing up at the house, and some of them are friends, some of them aren't, and things go nutty. And then there's the grandmother, which is the strangest part of the film.
So, when you say she's the strangest part, is there something you can go into without too spoilery, or is that part of the fun of it?
Well, it is part of the fun of it. But what's really strange is every time she goes up to the third floor, the film kind of takes a Italian twist to it, Italian film twist. It feels very Fulci in a way, where the rest of the film doesn't. It's really strange. It's like it's walking into a whole nother movie. The film, the bedroom's full of cobwebs and spiders, and it's lit with blues and reds, and she's, decrepit and really gross and doing stupid things and saying the nastiest stuff. But the rest of the house is normal, except for when, shit goes down and it gets bloody.
So is the feel of this film, does it have a sort of a comedy bent to it, or is it more of like a straighter horror film or thriller, or does it have kind of a variety of film feels to it?
It very much has its tongue in its cheek, and it's having a good time with it. It's playing with the 80s vibe, but not overly so like a lot of the 80s vibe films we've been getting lately. It's a little bit more reserved than that, but definitely feels like one that you would find at a mom and pop, shop with VHSs in it. You would, as opposed to a modern film, modern sensibilities in a good way. And, but really what I need to talk about is what could be a star-making performance from, Jordan Phipps, who plays Morgan McKenzie. She's the young girl that's left home alone. And the film is focused on her for the entirety of the film. It is her story. It starts with her, it ends with her, and she's in, practically every scene in between, in various stages of undress. She's really good and really makes a strong impression. Although I will say, and Richard, forgive me, Richard Stringham, the director, that it appears this film was filmed like over maybe 3 years. Because she, there seems to be like an age gap in some scenes. She looks older or younger in some other scenes, and her acting prowess changes. There are some scenes where she is very confident and very, a little bit more experienced and very, really makes a very strong impression in this film. And then there's other ones where it seems like it might have been her first day. And which is interesting, and you can get away with that in this kind of film. I don't know if you want to cash in that ticket, but at the same time, it really shows off that this girl, Jordan Phipps, this young lady, has a very strong future ahead of her if she wants to take it. She makes quite the impression. Has a lot of fun.
Well, very cool. It definitely sounds like something worth catching. Sounds like you're you're pretty up on it. So what would be
it is. But before we get into our final thoughts, we're gonna run a little long here. It does come with a bit of a caveat. There's a couple scenes with male aggressors because she's basically home alone and she gets into situations these scenes are very uncomfortable, and I'm not entirely certain it's intended to be uncomfortable in the way in which it is. It is very much intended to be uncomfortable for her. And the gentleman, the two gentlemen that I'm talking about are very skeevy and deserve to be, what happens to them. One of them in particular is a friend of the father's who there's a scene where he's staring straight on, at her, but he's staring straight on at the camera. And the way Richard Stringham, the director, shot it and presented it is really unnerving in this respect. But it's in this climate that we're in right now, it may have taken a tone that he didn't intend.
Oh, interesting. With that, what score would you give it, and what would be your final thoughts then?
Well, this is a great film festival feature. If this is playing at a film festival, I would recommend it. I would give it a 4. I really liked it. I really liked it. I liked it because of the aesthetic. It kind of does the strange, bizarre changes in tone that it somehow manages to make work that in another film would have turned it on its ear in a bad way. And then, of course, Jordan Phipps is a really strong. It's worth watching to see her in her first role. You're going to see a lot of her.
Well, very cool. We'll look forward to it. You ready to say goodnight, Doc?
Well, I do have a favorite scene.
Oh, I forgot all about that. Sorry. Hey, Doc, how about your favorite scene?
The favorite scene, there is plenty of scenes to choose. But the favorite scene is going to have to be with the grandmother, because that ended up being some of my favorite parts is with her. And there's a part where the girl is in dire straits. She's in danger, but she knows that if she does a certain thing that she'll set up the grandmother to step in to take out the bad guy. I'm saying way too much, and it really works. Loved it. Yes.
Well, very cool. Well, you ready to say goodnight, Doc?
I am. Good night.
Be sure to visit GruesomeMagazine.com to listen to the other Gruesome podcasts, Hard News Radio, and Decades of Horror. Also, check out the Gruesome Magazine Quarterly, available in digital and print-on-demand format.